Hey there, Chicago White Sox fans. It is South Side Sox podcast number 134. It is our final, I believe, our final Soxivus podcast. Some of us drew short straws to be festive, some did not. So we're giving you a mixed bag here, including, again, fair warning, seizure warning for anyone who may actually be bedazzled by flashing lights. Allie Wesel brought her game, not a mug, but headwear. I'm Brett Ballantini, lucky enough to host this podcast, as many others. We've been away for a while, but guess what? Not much has happened. So we'll be able to catch up real quick. So let's just kick it off up top with the big news of two outfielders. The White Sox went from like 1 to 10 outfielders in no time. Andrew Benintendi and Billy Hamilton, both added to the White Sox roster, one for big bucks, another for the minor league contract, although he may prove to be more valuable this season. We'll address that shortly. But again, reactions to the big outfield additions by Chicago White Sox and Rick Hahn going to work, trying to earn his way to the big boys table.
Oh man, the biggest contract in the history of the Chicago White Sox, $75 million. Most teams would just laugh at that. Like, I haven't looked at the numbers. Is there a team that's paid less than that for the biggest contract?
I'm gonna, I'm
Because
gonna,
that seems pretty low.
I'm gonna guess the Pirates for sure, possibly the Rockies, but yeah, you're right. No, I'm indifferent towards Benintendi. I was actually more excited about getting Billy Hamilton back because he at least
Yeah.
we know what he brings. We know what Billy Hamilton brings. We know the vibe. We know that I know we're gonna talk about this later probably, but we know that the new rules have made it, stealing bases easier, and maybe he'll steal a lot of bases, and maybe that'll be useful this year. Maybe that'll be the new money ball. Is it's like we'll just sign all the guys that can steal bases and steal 300 bases in a year, and somehow win a World Series like that. I doubt it, but Billy's a great guy to have.
I
I
think
will
last
say,
I saw there's like 4 teams left that have yet to give $100 million contracts out. And I don't know which ones they are, but I
I
just
just
think that's
realized
sad
something.
that we're in that category.
The Royals gave out the Nolan contract, the Nolan Arenado contract. Not the Royals, the Rockies.
Yeah.
So that could count. I mean, they traded him away almost instantly, though.
Still counts. Still committed. In
I'm
theory,
just,
committed.
I'll just say I'm glad he's a legitimate outfielder and not a first baseman or a designated hitter or something. I can't imagine caring about this situation because, again, at least they are outfielders this time.
You're not gonna nitpick the move because it is technically an outfielder who has won a Gold Glove. So I mean,
Yeah.
you want to think at least average defense being brought to left field.
I can't
He-
pretend to care.
Yeah,
He didn't, if I was looking at the stats correctly, he did not create an error this year. So, I mean, that's a big deal when you're talking about the White Sox, like not even one error. And Fangraphs ranked Benintendi number 17 out of 50 top free agents this year. So like that's better than 25, right?
It
Like
is.
if the White Sox were truly making a White Sox move, like he would have been ranked 25th out of 50. So like it's a little bit better.
Oh, we could have got the Billy Hamilton deal as the outfielder. I mean, trust me, we didn't need to wedge in a $75 million guy who's won a Gold Glove and may still have some upside. I guess he's not pushing 40. So other reactions to our two new outfielders?
I think of the options that were left, like this was my preferred signing. Like obviously we saw some really big contract. I mean, Aaron Judge and some other big contracts get signed before this. So I think like if I'm having, the luck of the draw of what's left, this is a good option. I also think that like what Benintendi's like 28, so he was drafted in like 2015. And if I recall, he got picked like right before the White Sox wanted to pick him. So, I mean, also knowing that, it doesn't surprise me that this is the guy that they went with because they seem to stay loyal in odd ways to people. So, I think overall, like we got Victor Reyes, now we have Benintendi and Billy Hamilton got signed. Like things are being addressed, just like not in the most lovely way that I feel they could have been. But it's something, I suppose.
It could be worse, right? I guess that's where we're at this point. Like, it could be worse. I mean, you look at like our friends on the north side. I'd rather have Benintendi than have Bellinger, to be honest. Like, I feel like at least last year, Benintendi, I mean, he hit over 300. He's has a low strikeout. He gets on base, and I guess Bellinger has like the possibility of being great, but he's also been really bad for the last couple of seasons. So trying to be glass half full here.
We can stop making fun of Ken Williams always getting his man when Rick Hahn wanted to draft Benintendi, then wanted him in the trade. I mean, realistically, he was a top prospect, want him in the trade for Chris Sale. So, finally got his guy. And to his credit, Ken gets him at 38. We got a guy at 28 that he always had his eye on. Malachi, you came on a little bit later. Interested to know your thoughts on these two new outfielders.
Yeah, so with Benintendi, I was a little bit lukewarm at first. I definitely see it. I see the upside for sure. If he gets back to the kind of swing he was doing when he first came up with Boston in 2018, 2019, he's a line drive hitter going gap to gap. And when he was hitting well when he first came up, he was just smoking balls opposite field off the green monster in Boston and into their right center field gap. Guaranteed rate field has, unless I'm mistaken, the shortest gaps in baseball. It's got this reputation for playing as a hitter-friendly park, but it's more like it's just a home run-friendly park. It's kind of like the inverse of Kauffman Stadium in some ways, which is death for home runs, but gigantic gaps, so you get a lot of doubles. So if Benintendi can be healthy and, turn back the clock a few years, even be maybe a slightly improved version of what he was in 2021, you could see someone who's brushing up against like all-star status. I definitely see that upside. That being said, it's been like 3 years now since he was really swinging it like that. He's coming off a hamate injury, which is notoriously bad for power. It, sometimes really takes hitters a year or two to find their swing after those kinds of injuries. And he had little enough pop to begin with. So the floor is pretty low here. There's a scenario where he really might just be like a singles hitter now, who plays a decent left field. I think it's a good thing that the Yankees were supposedly willing to go 4 years with him and wanted to bring him back, but just couldn't tie themselves up that long. So just when you're letting Jose Abreu walk, it's fine, but it's kind of like this is what the offseason is hinging on, is whether this turns out to be a really successful move. It's a real good contender you got there.
Yeah, we have to look to other teams and say, okay, look, they sort of were kicking the tires on him. So, okay, maybe this is a good move. Okay, Jordan Haas has provided us research that says it looks like the Rays and the Pirates and the A's have a smaller top contract than the White Sox. So we are not 30th in baseball. There might be a couple of minor league teams that have actually surpassed that.
The Royals have outspent us on the
that's total biggest contract, because the Royals, technically the Rays have the Wander Franco extension, which is $184 million, which smokes any contract we have out of the water.
I'll count it.
And actually, our biggest extension is smaller than the Benintendi contract, which is also not great. But it's also kind of funny that the biggest Rays free agent is Zach Eflin this year for $40 million. So, we could be worse, because I think the Reds have a $62 million free agent contract. So if we're going just free agents, the Reds are in there too. So there's a couple of teams that don't have any $100 million, but we're probably the biggest market team of all of them that doesn't.
And Jordan, the Rays are going to have like 20 more wins than the White Sox this year, so we can't kick them too hard. Okay, now what I need to do too, especially because she's in my middle circle here, Allie, I think what needs to happen is like when there's a really revelatory point being made or hilarious point made, that's when I think we need the flashing lights. So again, I don't want you to go like too audiovisual. You don't need to produce and participate in the podcast at the same time, but maybe during a dull moment, a little flash there. You got it. You might as well listen. You've heard it before. You might as well flaunt it. Okay. Listen, Joe Reese has pointed out somehow Joe Reese is not showing up in this podcast. I'm not sure what's going on there, but we'll get to the bottom of it. Tweeted out earlier today, and I don't think it's a novel concept, of the White Sox now, you combine all the anticipated WAR for next season, White Sox would have the 17th most wins. I think that's what his stat was pointing to, not just some made up thing. 17th most wins, which would put them as a losing record. 17th last year, White Sox, of course, were tied for 15th best in baseball at dead 500. The 17th best team was Boston last year. They were a 78 win team. So right now we're projecting, again, this is just fuzzy math here, but let's just say roughly 78-ish wins. I think safe to say a below 500 team. White Sox haven't exactly said they're done. They also haven't exactly said they're doing anything this offseason. They probably already surprised us all with the Benintendi contract to begin with. So is there still some room for the White Sox to add wins to their off season to go into the season, maybe at least like, all right, on paper we're 500, maybe things catch the right way and there's some health, this can be an upper 80s 90 win team? Or are we already sort of setting sail on the contention window, 500 team or 90 win team? What's the vibe?
I mean, I think you just nailed it on the head right there with health. And going back to Malachi, like, we have exponential WAR with this roster if everyone is healthy and producing at what they're projected to produce at. Like, if Eloy Jimenez and Luis Robert and Yasmani Grandal can get their power back, and like we have, Yohan Moncada is healthy and Tim Anderson stays healthy and Andrew Vaughn like settles into first base, like we have the pieces. But Rick Hahn, again, and I think we bring this up almost on every single podcast, has built a roster that's contingent on his starting nine being healthy all of the time. Like, there's no depth. So, I mean, I like to speak in hypotheticals that, like, yeah, everyone's going to be healthy, but we have this strength and conditioning staff that never seems to be able to, like, we can never seem to injury manage well, and strength and conditioning always seems to be an issue. So, like, I'm like, yes, but also no on the whole contention window thing. Yeah. I'm just very conflicted.
Yeah, what's even concerning about that now is I was looking through the Zips projections the other day and one of the things that he does is give you an 80th percentile projection too, which is basically telling you like what is the projection if like almost everything goes right, like better than 80% of possible outcomes. And the White Sox, the White Sox hitters, for the most part, aren't even at their best, like head and shoulders better than that many other teams in the league. Most of them at this point are projected for between 3 and 4, low threes WAR if a lot of things go right. And a lot of other teams have guys who have even more players who have basically the same projection or even better. Unlike their median projection, it's been, can we trust Yohan Moncada? Does he even have that 2019 ceiling anymore? Mm-hmm. Can Eloy Jimenez stay healthy and not slump? Is Andrew Vaughn going to take that next step? Like, there are so many things that we're asking to go right that, like, the upside is not really there in the same way that it was a year or two ago. So it is hard to, it is hard to project them for like much more than a few games over 500 if you're being like trying to be a little fair and balanced. But
yeah, there was that crazy stat that was thrown out or circulating that the White Sox had like 4 guys projected to be like, was it better than 2 WAR, like better than us, better than starter level? And other teams got 8 or 9 in terms of their projections. I mean, the White Sox just going into the season, yeah, I mean, the shine's off. It's just been 1 year. The shine is sort of off this team. The thoughts about this off season and what may still happen. There's not really much else that can happen. There's not some big trade up Hahn's sleeve. There can't be.
I mean, there are the rumors of Liam Hendricks trade, but I don't think that's gonna add value to this team because you're taking away like a top 5 closer in baseball and going for what, a second baseman that'll maybe give you 2 or 3 WAR, and I'd rather keep Liam for the last year of his contract, I think. But it's not, unless you're going and signing some guy to like play DH so you don't have to play Gavin Sheets every day at DH. You're not really going to add any more value to this team. And I mean, they might be underrating Oscar Colas. They might be overrating Oscar Colas. We don't know. We won't know. We won't even know if he's starting in the lineup this year until opening day. But there's all sorts of possibilities. But I'm of the opinion at this point that like 2020 and 2020 wasn't a fluke. 2020 was just 2020. But 2021 is looking like it might have been just kind of a fluke season where it's like we had all the momentum coming off of 2020 and we, overcome that, a little bit of curse of Tony La Russa. But, last year kind of showed that this is a team that, while they can be really good at times, unless we're going to get the literal best year out of every player on this team next year, which seems highly unlikely, uh, probably not going to make the playoffs. Maybe a little bit over 500, but it is what it is.
You'll be relieved to know, Jordan, most legitimate piece of trade bait, Liam Hendricks, has one more year after this coming one. Of course, it's the one where the White Sox get to decide to spend $1 million toward him until he dies, or just whatever, $18 million for just one more fourth season in Chicago. So anybody trading for Liam really realistically has a pretty good closer. I'm not sure about top 5, but he's still definitely in the range there. For 2 more years at a pretty reasonable cost. White Sox don't sign guys for anything but reasonable costs. Any other offseason thoughts, or is it just time to drink?
I have to think that they're done. I don't think they're going to do anything else. And I'm neutral again with Benintendi, but at the same time, it feels like one of those, we really already had a Benintendi. Like, he doesn't add any value to this team. So I feel like that's just going to be the Rick Hahn way, and that's how we're ending it. And I have no real hope for next season because nobody on this team can ever stay healthy. Yasmani probably should have called it quits after last season. Like, I'm not optimistic at all going into this next season.
Chrystal, tell me.
Worry. He just did a podcast with Chuck Garfien. He works out 7 days a week.
I know, I watched it because he is an incredibly attractive man. So I will watch anything that he's on, but like still.
It doesn't have to do with baseball played. Yeah, fair. And Chrystal, they never called you about any stretching, yoga, training work. They've yet to call, correct? You've had this offer on the table for at least, I want to say, a couple seasons now.
Yeah, like at least 2 seasons.
Just
they haven't called. Sure. I'm only getting better. I just upgraded my mat. I found a good deal for like Prime Day or whatever. So again, I'm available.
Yeah, you're not looking to upcharge that to the Sox or anything. You're just like, I got it anyway.
Like, it could just be me and Dylan. He has to stay like 6 feet away just because. But we could like lead the charge and stretch them out. But whatever.
Yeah. But then Benintendi last row, a little bit further away than Dylan. Oh, we're collecting them, aren't we? Melissa, Allie, somebody had something else to say. I cut you off.
I think I have like my wild card that I'm kind of looking forward to, I think, is to see what Grifol can do with this group. Like, he's hungry, like he's super hungry. I feel like just kind of the more that I've read and things and listened to him speaking and stuff, like I really feel like he is hungry and he really wants to win and he really wants to do well. And sometimes that can be super effective if you've got a very motivated manager and coaching team. So if I'm optimistic about anything, like I don't think they're going to sign anybody else. Like, we're not going to get some great second baseman savior to come in and save the 2023 season. But I'm a little bit looking forward to seeing how that part plays out.
Speaking of attractive White Sox, see, that's one thing the White Sox have upped. You want to talk about WAR? They've really upped their WAR just in overall attractiveness. Even Yasmani Grandal, with a historically bad season, still darn.
They got rid of Adam Engel, so honestly, did they? That was.
Wait, the weird beard Adam Engel?
I'm talking about dump truck. I don't care about the face.
It depends on where you're looking.
I love the energy. Truly do love it. Unlike some things with the White Sox, I love this energy because I'm gonna be of the opinion that the White Sox are gonna be mid. Like, the AL Central is not good. The NL Central, by the way, also not good. The Centrals just aren't good. So I expect nothing. The second signing was, the last signing was Billy Hamilton. Maybe I'm thinking they're gonna stay internal with the upgrade with second base, or maybe they should be smart and just be like, "Hey, Elvis, you want to come back? Like he's still available. He's still an option. James Segura, probably too expensive for the White Sox, but go get something." That's what I ask. It's not what I expect because it's the White Sox. The White Sox doing something is like Chicago not having snow. It doesn't happen. So like, well, at least during the winter, you get the point though. Like at the end of the day, the White Sox are gonna be a maybe 500, maybe 3 over, maybe 3 under. My dad used to always say when we talk about sports, you're 3 games over 500, you might as well be 500. It doesn't matter. So I don't expect much at all from this team. Like,
And your dad's a Cubs fan. It was just a pipe dream for him to be talking about 500 anyway. Come on.
Exactly. Like that's the thing though. Like, still, does 3 games over 500 get you into the playoffs?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Unless like the division is even worse than it was last year. Like, I still think that the top of the division is Guardians, White Sox, but does that matter when both of them get smoked in the first or second round? No.
Do they still even do the bonuses for finishing a first or second? That's or even third? I mean, these are 5-team divisions. There can't really be much incentive to finish second. But then what am I talking about? These guys are all millionaires anyway.
You mean
right?
the Jerry Reinsdorf line of second and best because you still make money?
Shut up, guys. You made $1,500 for finishing second. What are you complaining about?
Yeah, and also like, God, Rick Hahn taping over. He's taping over big gaps with one piece of dollar store duct tape. Not even the good stuff.
Any chance? What is the likelihood? All right, okay, yeah. Let's do a quick speed run. Likelihood of any made trade or signing by the White Sox between now and let's even say opening day, like significant, something that would get your attention. Second base, could be an outfielder, could be a starter. Any chance? I'm going to start with Jordan. Jordan, what is the likelihood of that? You think it's going to happen or not before opening day?
95%.
Yes or no?
Oh yes, 95% that there is going to be something that happens.
All right.
Whether it's a good big or a bad big is yet to be told, but something big will happen.
Yeah, you really do have to have that caveat because it could just be a horrible big. Okay, Dante, your thoughts?
So shockingly, despite all I just said, I think they're gonna go sign something. As Jordan said, it might not be good,
Okay.
but they'll do something.
Okay.
Like that. I was hoping that Brandon Drury would be the idea they came up with, but he's been signed by the Angels, so nope. But I think they'll get something at second base. Also, for a record, wonderful vinyl collection behind you, Brett. Wonderful.
Yeah, I just move around the house. So yeah, here's where we are this time. So, okay, Melissa, thoughts? Optimistic, pessimistic?
No, I don't. I think Benny was their big signing. I think they're like, woo, look what we did. Biggest contract in history. We're great. We're done. We made everybody happy. And yeah, I think that's it. Zippo.
So Rick mails it in for weeks. Well, maybe he'll produce a couple more Project Birminghams. Allie, what's it going to be? Is it going to light up the headgear or not? What's going to happen between now and opening day?
I'm like 75% sure there's a gut-wrenching trade coming that like I'm not gonna like.
Oh.
I'm like 50-50 on a free agent signing. I'd like to see like Gene Segura or something come play second base, but I'm not as optimistic that that's happening. I think they're gonna go with some internal options, but yeah, I think there's gonna be a trade to shake something up.
Okay, Chrystal, very clearly the whole of the Indianapolis field office is just sort of punting on this offseason, very nonplussed. Given that, what's your thoughts? Good or bad? It can be bad of something happening between now and opening day.
Aren't they supposed to like bring James McCann back or something? I don't know. That was a rumor. I don't feel good about it. And I think that if that Liam Hendricks rumor has any weight to it, that's a really bad idea. So no, I'm just not optimistic. It's like a 5% chance at this point.
Something that might... Right. anything that happens most likely is going to make you feel bad, not good.
Yeah, I just have more of a bad feeling than anything.
Yeah. I think when many of us talk about the fact that the White Sox seem to be good, I think this is a big thing that Tommy's hit on a ton of times. The White Sox do seem to stumble their way into some decent bullpen arms. And I think when we consider some of those expendable, or, hey, why do we need to sign, Joe Kelly for this guaranteed money when he's already hurt, and we already have guys that maybe could step in the bullpen that aren't Joe Kelly. I don't think we're talking about like getting rid of the closer. I know, closer, whether you believe in that mystique or whatever. I mean, Liam Hendriks is a solid contributor, a positive contributor at a decent price. He shows up to play. Apparently sometimes he pitches in panic of his defense. So hopefully he can get himself right and the defense can prove itself to him so he can pitch well for the White Sox. But yeah, if he's the guy that's being dangled, not that the White Sox have a whole lot else to dangle, it's going to give him anything. Yeah, at best, I think like Jordan said, that's addition by subtraction. Whatever you're going to get is going to be probably offset, not only by just the sheer war that Liam produces for the team, but then the weird domino effect where we think Ronaldo Lopez can just step into a closer role, or however it's going to end up being. Again, I don't really buy the whole closer mystique, but it is going to be a shock to the system, and guys' roles are going to change, and that's probably not going to be a good thing. Malachi, what is the chance in your mind of the White Sox still doing something big before opening day?
Yeah, I do think we're done with signings. It seems like the vibe is that if any more money is added, money will be going out. There's been so much talk of we're going to make upgrades by trade. It's not going to be free agents. It's going to be trade. They've been saying this since the moment the season ended, and we haven't gotten one yet. So I'm 99% sure we'll get something before opening day. I definitely get that kind of like weird feeling of dread that like we're about to have like a really shitty Lucas Giolito trade or something like that. But it also seems to me that they genuinely do want to just run it back. They really do believe that they can have everything go right, and that the last year and a half were just aberrations because of freak injuries and stuff like that. And so many of these core players are coming off of down years. It's hard to see them trading low on Giolito or a Yohan Moncada or someone like that. On the Hendriks front, I mean, I don't know what it's like in that locker room, obviously, but he really kind of seems like the heart and soul of that bullpen and a real core part of the pitching staff in general. I can't imagine that would be unless they're really getting the kind of player back where you say, okay, that's a sacrifice you can make. That doesn't seem like it would be a particularly great move for a team that like can't stand to lose too many more likable players, at least in the way the last couple of years have gone. So I think we'll see, there's been enough smoke around, they talked about Sean Murphy for some reason. They're talking about James McCann. It seems like they want to upgrade a catcher. They don't trust Sebi's bat to be legit or something like that. I'm not sure where it's going to be, but I have to imagine one more semi-substantial move is coming, whether we like it or not.
Yes, well said, Malachi, that that really not just a year and a half. The White Sox weren't all that good in their big playoff 90-win season either. So this malaise has extended. Okay, Allie's headgear flashes because even though this is a speed round, Jordan Haas is going to revise answer before we go to our break. The answer now is Jordan.
Sorry, I'm saying 50% on a move. I just read a tweet from Verdi Parise that says Oscar Colas. The rumor is Oscar Colas is playing right field. Romy is playing second base, and Luis Garcia is the utility player now. It's just utility bench player now. And so I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna make a move unless they're getting a catcher, but who's worth trading for at this point?
Yeah, the list is dwindling. We have Soxivus Gifts to touch on. Yes, this is going to be a semi-Soxivus podcast. Hey, why not? And I don't know, some other things, some coming attractions and any other BSing we want to do. Give people a chance to adjust headgear, get more or less festive, or just simply take a strong, stiff drink. We will be back in a minute. Please stick with us. We'll have much more fun on South Side Sox Podcast 134. See you in a bit. Hey there, White Sox fans. We're back. Thanks for coming back to join us for a little bit of Soxivus Gifts, etc. Along with the fabulous vinyl collection. I am Brett Ballantini, hosting this podcast. Let it be noted that Chrystal O'Keefe is always dressed festively. So step back, please. Malachi, in move progress. So unfortunately could not bring out the festive holiday nonsense sweater. So just visualize, or if you just want to visualize him as Brian Scalabrine, hey, that's, it's throwback, but it did happen. It really did happen.
It's too cold to show a leg this time, though.
I was looking around for my Santa Claus boxers, but I did not find them. So I am not flashing leg either. We are back. It is time to get into Soxivus Gifts. Not a lot. We're publishing it, I believe, on Christmas Day. So this is a little sneak preview. Don't have to read the article like any of you read. You just listen and watch and laugh. Anyhow, if you're reading, pay close attention because we will not cover every point, and there may even be a few more Soxivus Gifts snuck in before we publish. But I believe we only have 4 or 5, including myself. And I think 3 of those writers are here. So I'm going to let them just have at it and explain concept of Soxivus Gifts. Melissa, you came up with it. So please to explain the concept and then launch into, I believe you had like several, but launch into, whatever your top few gifts are.
Yeah, I just thought it, being the holiday season, it'd be fun if we could think about our favorite players and give them gifts. And so I came up with 12 because for the 12 days of Christmas. So I picked out my favorite 12 and then assigned them each fun gifts. So I'm not going to go over all 12 of them because I want people to gotta read to find all 12 of them. But some of my favorites. Okay. So Jake Diekman, I wanted to give him a gift certificate for one-on-one facial hair grooming session with Dallas Keuchel because that dude needs some help in terms of the personal grooming situation. And I mean, if Dallas did do anything well, his facial hair was top notch. So yeah. So that was one of my favorite ones. I also wanted to give Leori, the legend, a one-way ticket out of town, so we never have to see him again. You can only ride that home run in game 3 so far, buddy. I'm sorry, you just can't. Yeah. And then Gavin Sheets, he gets a brand new state-of-the-art shiny first baseman's glove, and it's the only glove all season he is ever allowed to use. First baseman glove only. So those are my favorite ones.
And Gavin, maybe you could throw in a seat cushion for the bench because he'll be mostly watching Andrew Vaughn playing first base. But hey, sorry, Gavin, it's just you're not a number 3 overall pick or a Golden Spikes or college hitter of the year, whatever he was. Malachi knows, he'll tell me. Okay, let's take it a different direction. Dante Jones with a gift, but I don't think for the White Sox. Please to explain your Soxivus gift, Dante.
Dante's frozen.
He's opting out of participating in Soxivus Gifts. He's revising as we speak. Maybe we'll get back to Dante. We will shift.
The connection's bad. I'm back.
All right. Okay. Well, then
sorry about that.
You still have the opportunity. You hit the buzzer, so you have the opportunity.
All right. So my gift is basically, how about we just, receiving, giving, giving's a great part about Christmas. It's my favorite part. Love to give gifts. Let's give another team some relievers. We got the super pen. Let's just go back down to slightly super and not Joe Kelly and Jake Diekman and everyone in the pen at once. Maybe Diekman can be traded or Aaron Bummer or, there's options. At first I said Liam Hendricks, but I'm like, nah, I'd rather keep Liam Hendricks. So let's keep Hendricks. Bummer can go, or Kelly can go, a Diekman or a Graveman. Let's take Graveman out. He can go spread COVID somewhere else.
Oh, the group it's increasing.
We need an Aquaman bullpen and not an Aqua bullpen and not a Super bullpen.
Okay, and it's Allie. Allie is the last of our guests who have participated so far in Soxivus Gifts. And believe me, it's a popular gift, really, not just figuratively. Literally, that headgear should be lighting up because this is a good one. Allie, please explain your gift. Oh, it's a gift to White Sox fans, even though it's a gift to the owner.
Yeah, I would really love to gift Jerry Reinsdorf a fat ass check to purchase this ball club. Um, I'm sick of Jerry. I think it's time. He's old. He needs to just let it lie. He's watching his other team, of the NBA implode this year too. Like things are just not going well, and I would love to just take it off his hands. Yeah, that's all I got. Not much to elaborate there.
Yeah, we're busy aiming our sights for billboards, which is a great effort, by the way. Well done, all of White Sox fandom. But boy, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if that was just one little step higher to be able to write that check and say, Jerry, please go away. Maybe take Michael with you and let somebody even take over the Bulls. Because wow, it's been a tough year for Reinsdorf ownership. Good golly. My gift, I wrote about it at length. I'm not putting it in the Soxivus Gifts, or I will refer to it, but it's just some innovation. We had a big discussion. I don't know. I guess I was the one getting all riled up or talking a lot about it like I'm some brilliant mind or whatever. But I really do think the White Sox ought to apply, as they should have last year, 6 legitimate starters to the rotation. There's ways to game this. Guys are always hurt anyway. Give me 6 legitimate starters instead of having to go to emergency Davis Martin, or think that Dallas Keuchel has anything left, or sign Vince Velasquez to a small contract, but give him a very precious roster spot. No need to worry about options. Just get 6 guys legitimately up there. Somebody's always achy, or, I don't know, is Lucas going to come back, all bulked and hulked up again, where he's going to need like a mid-season break to like work on his timing or something? Well, guess what? You can take that break while, sitting on the IL. It's I don't think it's that different than hockey. You don't really have to provide a lot. That blister can linger for 6 weeks. Come on. Nobody's going to bust you on that. I would like to see the White Sox be a little bit more proactive with the injured list. They've been really, really bad, certainly in this last year, with how the injured list somehow games them instead of them actually trying to game the injured list. They don't even know when a guy's hurt to put them on. That's asking for a miracle for them to suddenly have someone on staff who knows how to use it, and then even how to maybe use it to their advantage. But it's a gift. I would give that gift to them. Just something innovative. Project Birmingham isn't. A new training staff. I mean, it might turn out to be a great move, but that's not innovative. You had to do that. Everybody's broken. But at any rate, that's my Soxivus gift, and that probably does somewhat conclude our Soxivus season. We are also going to run out this week the Soxivus quotes, tweets piece, that idea, the brainchild of Jordan Haas. And we got some participation in that as well. And there's some fun little highlights. Dante just sort of backed into the greatest quote, meme, whatever of the year in terms of Fresh Prince and the Empty Room. So there's some fun stuff to read on that. And again, we may have a few other people writing there as well. So, it's going to be maybe a half dozen writers taking that on as well. It can be a fun read. And again, that concludes a very entertaining and more in-depth Soxivus season than we had even a year ago. Who knows what it's going to be next year? Maybe we'll just start Soxivus at the All-Star break, because the season's going to be so very miserable. Before I get to coming attractions as we wind up the podcast, I am just going to throw it out to my fantastic panel and find out what it is that I haven't touched on in this podcast that we do need to discuss. It could be billboards. It could be how much we hate Jerry. It could be how bad the moves that weren't made or were made but hey, it's a free forum spot. Anybody have other things they want to add about this White Sox team or otherwise?
I just want to get everyone's opinion on Tim Anderson and his cryptic ass Twitter rampage, because he's been confusing a lot of people, and I think it's getting comical at this point, but I just was wondering what other people's opinions are.
It's avant-garde, Allie.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I don't have any opinions on it. He's just tweeting, probably. He's like high school me. He's tweeting out some really cryptic shit that gets people kind of concerned, but like not concerned enough to actually dive deeper in about it. But maybe there's something going on there, or maybe there's nothing going on there.
But he doesn't have to explain himself to anybody.
Yeah.
That was very clear. I don't have to explain myself to anybody.
Yeah, what is the end game for that? What's the purpose of it? I mean, it's not just a goof, it's very public. I mean, okay, so you're pushing buttons with people, but I mean, he's sending a secret message out to one person or something? I really don't understand what the objective is, avant-garde or not.
We call this subtweeting. When your tweets are meant for one person. I just, Melissa, you talked about earlier in the podcast, like how Grifal seems to have like fire under his butt to like motivate these people. And like, obviously there was some tension in the locker room. And I just like the way things read, I'm like, is this just going to cause another issue in the clubhouse? Like before the 2020 seasons, even like the 2023 season's already starting, like, are we already in a place where like toxicity is like already getting started? Like, that's where I come from, where I'm just like, I don't want to do this again.
I've interpreted literature, and I've written theses, and I've taught composition and all that stuff, but I do not understand what is even necessarily going on here. Allie, can you just give me and the other ignorant listeners out there just an idea of what's going on? Because I was not aware that this might even be something that is rifting the clubhouse. So is the points even salient enough for you to explain?
No, like on 12-2, like real life is still going on too, though. Don't ask about him if you don't want to see him around. Like, he's just tweeting stuff that like could be read into, but like could not be read into. And I like to read into it because he's supposed to be this star, like leader shortstop on our team, and tweeting like he's 16 years old.
Yeah, probably not could be like a YouTube series devoted to Tim Anderson, like there was a year or two ago. Something tells me that's going to get skipped now. It's just going to be like focus on maybe staying healthy and keeping your mind in the game.
I think it just comes down to the fact that he's a Cancer man, and he's got a lot. There's a lot going on up there. Big zodiac astrology girly. I just think he's a little moody. I get it. I live with a Cancer man as well. He would probably tweet cryptic things too if I let my 12-year-old have Twitter. So I think he's just a little moody right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was gonna say. Like, I was just like, it's Tim Anderson tweeting the way Tim Anderson's been tweeting for years, because it's just like he does. Like, it's like Cam Newton's Instagram page. I don't follow either one of them because I don't need to see any of that. And honestly, my perspective has always been, yeah, this is probably more personal life stuff than White Sox stuff, because like you never know what's going on with someone's life. And also, he's a black dude from like poorer neighborhoods. And a lot of people that are from there that look like us kind of tweet like that sometimes when we're going through something. Like, some of us, like me, are a little bit more direct because I don't care. And then some of us are millionaire athletes that have to care, because if you say the wrong thing, it'll piss people off. If you say the right thing, it'll piss people off. And if you do what Tim Anderson is doing, which is being as cryptic as you can get, then you're still gonna piss people off. Like I said, I just had to unfollow him. I was just like, Tim tweets stupidly sometimes. I'll ignore it.
Wasn't there
Also,
something though, like when the day that Jose was traded or the day after, and he was just like, oh, the air is like deflated from the balloon. And so it was like
that, but like, I don't know. He seems like one of those dudes that like a lot of people in life think they're more like, think they're philosophers of sort, but just like, nah, bro. Like
You're a good trash talker, but that's not philosophy.
Yeah, exactly. Like that life be lifing, bro. I get it. But like, cryptic tweeting through it will not solve the issue. Do what most of us do. If you're feeling bad, go to therapy. If you're just tweeting to tweet, fine, cool. I don't care. Like, it's Twitter. There's so many things on Twitter that annoy me more than Tim Anderson, such as a billionaire idiot owning the platform. And at least I don't have to see Rick Hahn tweet stupidly like Steve Cohen. So whatever. Fuck off. It's all good.
That's true. Well, now I'm really eager to get like the prose poem from Dante Jones sometime next year. So, or maybe just even like, let's just make it the 15th of every month. It's just got to be like Tim Anderson tweeting, Dante Jones tweeting as Tim Anderson. I think I'm going to bug
I
you
got
about
you. I'll
that.
do a bad dramatic take reading every single month if needed.
Sweet. Yes.
Also, like, if this all leads to Tim Anderson getting traded, I will laugh because Tim Anderson is my favorite player, and I will turn into a joker. I will just laugh for hours upon hours because tweets, man, not even anything like bad. It's just cryptic shit.
Mhm.
It's like that shows how poor of a state this team is in. They were talking about tweets when the contention window is supposedly open. In reality, it's more shut than after I take my air conditioner out the window when winter's starting. So it's like it's tweets, man. I don't want to spend time talking about tweets that aren't bad, just cryptic. I wish the team was good enough that we could focus on the team being good and not Tim Anderson being moody, Liam Hendricks saying that the defense behind him is shit, which it is, besides besides Jose Abreu, it was shit. Like, at the end of the day, these people are people. They make comments. They do cryptic shit. We all do the same thing. So I don't want to ride him like as anything bad out of it, as I know no one else here is trying to do. It is annoying because you just want a straight answer, but it's the White Sox. He's following the footsteps. There's no such thing as a straight answer.
All right, here's something bad, and I'm coming after you, Tim Anderson, for it. Stop blocking our guy, Lenny Gore. Take him off your block list. This has been like 5 years. Come on, man. All right, get off of
Blocks
Tim
are
now.
permanent. You know this. Blocks are permanent. Ask Donald Trump about my list towards him.
Other thoughts? I got a speed round idea, but other open ideas we have before we start to roll the credits on this.
I have one.
Please.
I am not going to write this in your article. I'm very sorry. But one of my gifts to certain White Sox players would be contraceptives, like a little bowl in the clubhouse that you can just
like
grab
when you're in
and go,
college
on your way out. Or like maybe a gift card to Planned Parenthood. I don't know. They offer services for men as well. That way we don't go into 2023 with baby mama drama anymore.
That would only help. You would think it would only help. Okay, yeah, I guess you don't have to put that in the article, Chrystal. All right.
I'll get my check mark taken away because somebody will be very mad.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna make a rude comment, but I decided not to make a rude comment about the man that owns the social media platform that we use for Bird app tweets.
Yeah, well, I think that's just a given. So, yeah, my own personal feeling toward it is, boy, it is becoming a real disincentive to use, but I'm just hopefully going to ride it out to see the whole thing crash. And then, maybe it just bounces back or is rescued at the very last moment and turned back into
He's supposedly resigning once he finds someone fit to take over the company.
Once the proper poll tells him to. Yeah, sure.
Just like Rick.
Rick Hahn. Yeah, be Rick.
Oh, that's an unflattering comparison.
One
Sorry,
and the
Rick.
same.
Oh, Rick.
Just a few $1 billion between them, nothing too special. Maybe he'll make Rick a billionaire and we never have to see him involved with baseball again. I think I'll sacrifice him if it means it's like I can deal with baseball in Chicago not being horrible and the Cubs. Because the Cubs are worse than that. Because they have the Ricketts.
Yeah, that's one thing that maybe the White Sox rest too easy on now, that somehow Cubs ownership is always worse than them, and it really is worse than them now. There's almost nothing the White Sox could do, but that's not a challenge, White Sox, at all. Okay, well, we'll close open forum. We do have coming attractions. We are beginning all our prospects coverage, something that not everyone always understands, but I don't think there's any harm in giving some shine to a lower level prospect, gives them a little attention. And who knows, sometimes those lower level prospects like Carlos Perez become guys who are legitimate major league contenders or major league players. Our top 100 prospect countdown begins, and our top prospect poll, where you readers vote on who the White Sox top prospects are, starting with 1, and we're starting the other one at 100. They somewhere meet somewhere close in the middle, and then somehow the top prospect votes that you make at South Side Sox count toward the actual final countdown. See how that works? A lot of work, but a lot of fun, and we do have a number of writers hopping in on that, including Melissa Sage-Bollenbach, who I believe is going to kick off with number 100. And that's coming up, if not right now, as this is publishing this podcast, very soon. So stay tuned. She'll be hopping in and out of the 100 prospects list, along with a lot of our other writers. We have a Christmas Eve piece, the traditional piece from Lee Allen at Sox Santa. It's a very entertaining one this year. Usually he does a pretty good job. Sometimes the night before Christmas. This year's not night before Christmas, but it is something pretty entertaining. And we have a lot of Hall of Fame votes coming up. We haven't done anything yet, but we're still going to do our veterans ballot. We're going to do our regular Hall of Fame vote. The Cooperstown vote, and of course, the most fun of all, the White Sox Hall of Fame, which includes other bonus categories like craziest character, best defensive play. I don't even know what they are yet. I'm not even close to writing it, but I will put that together for you probably around Soxfest time. The Ghost of Soxfest still exists on South Side Sox with the South Side Sox Hall of Fame. So that's all coming up. A lot of other stuff as well, but I can't think of any of it right now. And plus, just trying not to work quite as hard as in season. I believe Chrystal O'Keefe, at the very least, can identify with that. Thank you again, Chrystal, for a tireless, and thankless 2022 season. What were you doing, and what was I doing letting you do it? Well, we'll see what we do for 2023. Putting together the schedule now.
They could have at least been a little nicer to me.
Probably.
A little bit.
Yeah. Oh, you mean you haven't got your gift yet? Forget your job offer. You haven't even got your gift yet? Shit. Okay. Jeez, White Sox. Don't look at gift horse. Come on, White Sox.
I mean, it's the White Sox. They are very good at fucking up farewells or additions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's too true. This is certainly the last podcast before Christmas. Probably not the last one of the year, but then again, if the White Sox, if nothing else is going on, I mean, we don't really talk about baseball at large, but I mean, most of all that stuff has happened. Of course, who wants to talk about Carlos Rodon going to the Yankees? That's just depressing. I don't want to talk about it, but I mean, not probably a whole lot of breaking news in baseball. So who knows? Maybe this could be the last of the year. If not, if something's breaking, or if we get the fever, we will probably all 6 of these people will join me in some sort of festive wear. Maybe it'll be New Year's wear. Maybe we'll be in our formal attire. Coming at you to podcast once more before this year is out. Otherwise, we will see you on the other side. Thanks to all of my guests here. Oh, let's run them down once more. Malachi, who is in the process of moving, safe move there. Terrific participant on our site. I think he writes a little for the Yankees now, but we are not going to hold that against him because he is super cool. Jordan Haas taking a big chunk of work after joining right on. She was tireless in her own way at the very end of the season. And oh yeah, guess what? Roll out the carpet for you all next year. Oh, go for it. Go crazy every month. Melissa Sage-Bollenbach as well, including even chiming in on pretty much, I got to say, really sampled the entire buffet line of Southside Sox already, including now even some of this top prospect work. So appreciate that from you, Melissa. Allie just as well, coming on at the very same time. Seeing almost no hitters, podcasting like 28 days in a row, bringing a very solid coffee mug game to the podcast, and now headgear. So watch out. Who knows what's going to be for New Year's Eve? Dante Jones, again, podcast stalwart and future prose poetry article writer. I can't wait to badger him into that. And of course, we've already heralded my number 2. The hardest worker on this site, probably of all, it's Chrystal O'Keefe. She doesn't know what she's gotten herself into, but she revels in it. Thank you, Chrystal. Thank you all for being part of this podcast and part of this site. Appreciate it, especially hopping on before the very busy, or as the holiday season really creeps up and gets hot. Thanks everybody for listening, watching, reading, all that stuff. Of course, without you, we're not here. But we'll see you on the other side into another year, which is bound to be better than this one, unless we sneak one more in. But we'll keep you guessing. We'll catch you all probably sooner than you're ready for us. Thanks, everybody.